PechaKucha.
Next is Bella Wells-Freed.
Hi, I'm Bella. I'm 12 years old and I go to Odyssey Community School. I'm in the 7th grade. And every year we do an independent research project. And last year I did mine on graffiti. And I got really interested in it. And then when my teacher told me that there was an opportunity that I could present here, I jumped on it. And so I sent something in, and so here I am. Graffiti was first done in a concentrated area of the United States, mostly by youth. And these kids did their art on boxcars, which went around the country and spread the art form. And eventually it went all around the world, creating this many-sided debate of laws and ethics. And several different styles were produced. This is a collaborative type of graffiti where 4 artists came together to make a new piece, something bigger. Tag is another style that was often thought of more as vandalism than the others, but it was used to mark territory. Some graffiti artists have very specific styles. This is Banksy. He does a stenciling technique that allows him to use pieces over and over. This one's called Kissing Coppers, and it's for gay and lesbian rights. And most of his pieces are political, and that's a common reason for doing graffiti, but it's not the only one. This is by Shepard Fairey, and he does both street and studio art. And he does studio art for the buyers, so when it's on the street, no one has to approve of it except for him. And quote from him, "To me, street art is about self-empowerment." This is Lady Pink. She has several reasons for doing graffiti. One of them is for herself, and the other is to represent the group she identifies with. She is a Latina woman, and women are largely unrepresented in the graffiti community, and she is one of few women who have become famous by doing it. We have a lot of graffiti here in Asheville, murals and tags, and what you're seeing right here. We used to have a wall in the River Arts District, which is where this is, that it was legal to do graffiti, and recently that was declared off limits. And so that cut off graffiti artists from having a place that they could meet each other, create a community, and show their work. And so now it's all over other places, and let's see. Oh, yeah, it's other places. So we have a lot of murals in Asheville, and those and graffiti are used a lot to decorate a town. The only difference between graffiti and a mural is that murals are authorized and graffiti is not. It is actually not, although widely thought, that graffiti is mostly words and murals are pictures. This is a graffiti piece that could be mistaken for a mural because of its aesthetic value. Graffiti can just be a public art form that adds to the community by self-expression and political/aesthetic value. But it can also be just vandalism that's invading public or someone's personal space. So how can you decide where the difference is? I mean, who should decide? And what decisions need to be made? Political graffiti can be a value in society when it's fighting for something that the people believe in. But it can also cause problems because if it's something that's against what most people think or people that see it think, then it can cause problems. So who gets to decide which political graffiti is okay? Currently, local governments in the U.S. are making this decision, and in most places, graffiti is illegal. There are extremely divided opinions on whether graffiti should be legal or not, even in the graffiti community itself. Does graffiti, so some artists want it to be legal because they're tired of having to hide themselves from their art, but others don't want it to be because they're afraid that it will lose its power. These artists are risking going to jail, being fined, or both to show the world what they think, and this means that they really care. But there are some places around the world where it's legal. Queens, New York, Venice, California, Oyster Lane, Melbourne, Australia, and Paris, France are all places where graffiti is legal, but it's to a different extent. In Queens, you have to get permission from the local government to graffiti an area, whereas in Melbourne, it's actually encouraged because they use their street art as a tourist attraction. So at my school, I'm taught to take risks to succeed, and this is what these graffiti artists are doing. They are taking risks to help society succeed and keep going on this path that was first formed by cave art, and it was documenting us so that we could go from our past. And it's created a path of reflection that we've been following, and that graffiti is helping us to continue. It could be called the new cave art. So graffiti is constantly changing, and this is a new style of, or fairly new, style of graffiti that uses or is intertwining the physical features of buildings and streets with the art itself. This is the world going down the drain, literally. And this next piece that's going to come up is possibly a fight for environmentalism, using the example of a child watering a plant, which is an actual tree. This kind of graffiti, or even if it's a mural, is very dependent on society, because someone could cut down that tree and the message and look would be drastically changed. This is another new style of graffiti that I've only seen used a few times, and I call it backwards graffiti because instead of putting paint on, they're actually scraping the dirt and possibly old paint off this wall. So, can cleaning be graffiti? Is cleaning a crime? I mean, should graffiti really be a crime? What would the world look like if graffiti became legal everywhere? Would this art form lose its power? Would making graffiti legal also make it ethical? What do you want to change?